What the flick, everybody? The finale of House of Cards. We got through the whole season. Nicely done.
Success.
Episode 52 of House of Cards. The episode begins with Frank showing great strength.
Right.
Sort of taking charge of the call, getting Conway out of the way, giving them 10 seconds, getting the release of the two women.
Mm-hmm. And then it all goes south.
And then it all falls apart. And then there's nothing comes out of left field. This story had been building.
Sure.
And then the story is what massively damages them.
Although I'm a little surprised to find out that there's not a single Arabic translator in the situation.
Yeah, that was dumb. That was dumb. In either place, I mean, again, they go to this extent. You're sending the first lady to wherever that is, to Gitmo or some safe house, wherever that was, wherever they flew that guy from Gitmo, and they don't have you got nobody to speak his language in anywhere. I mean, I got it. You could argue that's look what's wrong with America, but I think we don't have enough Arabic translators, but we'd get one of them there.
Sure.
Two of them there.
Yeah, I mean, we got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I would think we'd have a few more now.
Right. That's right. That's right.
I think my favorite line in all this was where Tom says, "That's the first time you've lied to me since the last time you lied to me."
Yeah. No, that's the first time you've lied to me since you stopped lying to me.
Oh, okay.
Right. Sort of like you lied to me a ton, and then we reached some point,
and now we're back at this again.
Now we're back at this again. It was actually a nice way of saying it.
But this episode kind of maybe puts a little fine point upon what politicians often do, which is, if all else fails, scare the shit out of everyone, and change the conversation. And that's certainly what they do here, and it's an election year, so it's time to saber rattle,
Why do shows have two characters with the same name? There's
Tom and Thomas on Downton Abbey.
And Tom again. Tom is the speechwriter, right?
Right, yeah. And
Tom is the journalist.
Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah, Tom Hammerschmidt. Oh, yeah.
Like Tim Hammerschmidt. Come on.
There's never an Alonso on these shows, I can tell you that.
Let's have some Alonsos.
Except for Doctor Who, I know, shut up.
We also get Conway coming unglued. We get I mean, look, Frank is a different breed of ruthless, but so is Conway.
I think they're trying to make a little dig at millennials here, that basically, I Instagram, therefore I am, essentially with this guy, that it's all about the, not just being loved, on social media, but that everything he does has to be seen and appreciated, and Frank has that speech there's so much of this job that no one will ever know about, and that no one will ever give you any credit for, and do you even want that? And that's a fair question, because clearly he does. That's what Conway's all about. And
it causes a rift in his marriage.
Yeah. When he barks at the wife, it's like, whoa, because up till that point they've been all lovey-dovey,
right?
24/7.
Don't go soft on me, but he's. Because he was really, his concern was not whether the people would die, but only how it would look.
Yeah, he's all about the optics. Yeah, and to the point where you realize, oh wow, even those kids are just there for the campaign ad. Right. They're there for the look of it.
That's right. And then you get, even though they had that rift, then when he finally turns the computer around or shows it to her, when he's like, no, look, don't. I got it. You're mad at me, but you're about to be first lady. Even she is like. Ooh. But then we get to their solution.
Right, and as somebody on Twitter asked me, we should be a little worried about how prescient the House of Cards writers are this season, because they got the SCOTUS nomination, during an election year. They got, the contested convention. It's did they get war too? Is that the thing that we don't know about?
Well, this was the first clear sign that they have really blended, obviously Bill and Hillary Clinton, just by nature of the kind of power couple it is.
Sure.
Bill and Hillary Clinton weren't that Machiavellian. No one is. It's a character. But
sure.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, she was definitely unique among first ladies for being that involved with policy.
And the Clinton political operation is ruthless.
Sure.
And notoriously ruthless. Sometimes you're like, oh, cool, tough politics, and other times you're like, don't.
You're scaring me now.
And the thing is true, and you're, calling everybody, talking about what a SLUT Monica Lewinsky is. You're like, well, that's not cool.
Not helping
in any way. Plus a zillion other things, but although not anything that the right would have you believe,
No.
right? So, but now they have. So this is that they've taken apart Clinton, and then just with the fear wins elections, all of a sudden
it's Bush time.
Yeah, it's Bush time. I mean, it's like it's no longer Bill and Hillary. It's George and Dick.
Yeah, true.
And Cheney's really clear understanding that fear wins. 2004, it was just fear. It was like, no, this war was horrible. It was horrible. If you elect John Kerry, your kids will die, and so will all their friends. But okay, go ahead.
Which was the smoking cloud as a mushroom? The we don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud.
That was Condoleezza Rice.
Right, I know, but was that during the election or was that just in the lead up to the war?
No, I think that was the lead up to war.
Okay,
that was the lead up to war. But again, same thing. I mean, the idea was scare. And we're seeing it again. It happens naturally. It sells. It brings in viewers. I mean, it sells paper. Nothing sells papers, but euphemistically, it sells papers. It moves product.
Oh, and it distracts people from what is selling papers, which is Hammerschmidt's story coming out with all of the stuff about Zoe and
Right, and a presidential candidate currently running for office now, who was in this studio yesterday, would tell you that it all distracts from. Oh my God, we have massive income inequality, and we transferred $300 trillion in the last 30 years to the top 1% or whatever that number is.
Right.
And so we don't focus on, and so for him it's a scandal, but in general as a country we don't focus on really meaningful economic issues and dull stuff like infrastructure and making sure that what happened in Flint doesn't happen in your town.
Right.
And
that our bridges don't all collapse.
And that the bridges don't collapse, and that the highways stay safe, and that we lay the right fiber optic cable to keep the country connected and the world connected. But because we're talking about what happened in Belgium, and that somehow scares us more than a mass shooting in Santa Barbara or a mass shooting somewhere else. I don't know what that means. I don't know.
Well, and we'd rather talk about what did Trump tweet about Cruz's wife than about anyone's actual positions on it.
Right. Well, certainly the trivial is always more interesting, but ultimately the trivial, the infrastructure and economic inequality
are not sexy.
Can hang a little bit with Trump's tweets.
Sure.
A little, but they can't hang with we're all going to die. The world is coming apart, and we've got to come together to.
So this is basically wag the dog.
That's right. This is, and again, you could make an argument for it. I mean, they came in and they kidnapped people and executed somebody on television in America. There'd be
people are going to be afraid.
Even though these guys clearly acted on their own. It's very clear that they acted on their own.
Yes, but it's sort of like how when the final analysis of the Florida vote counts came out, by that point we'd gone to war, and it was sort of like, well, we really shouldn't be talking about this right now because it's a time of national crisis. And so if you can distract people with a big enough sort of foreign policy straw man boogeyman, then it's really not in good taste to be talking about how the president had people murdered. So I'm really curious to see how episode 5 or season 5 is going to roll out in terms of the Underwoods as wartime presidents, basically, and and how this election comes out.
I mean, it's within the realm of possibility that the whole season takes place over 3 weeks.
Sure, yeah,
I mean, the beginning of war could end. It could end on election night.
Yeah, the finale could be the election.
Yeah,
sure.
Right, that's right, because we're in October. Joe Lieberman, by the way, wanted to quit like the day after. He's like, our country can't handle it. We had a freaking president. We weren't at war. They could have counted their votes. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Good stuff.
Yes.
Looking forward to next season. Thanks. I'm so impressed with us.
And we did it.
We did it.